Hello everyone, Beanies in the bedroom, your guitar junkie here with this. Yeah, what did I do? What do you see? Notice anything different? Yeah, man, I changed the knobs. Yet again, had to take those big fat knobs off and put the little Fender ones on because the one song that I do with the swells, boy, you give it some more juice, man. That the knob was so big I couldn't, because I just used my pinky and keep the pick between the index finger and the my pointer finger, I should say, and my thumb, and I couldn't. It was getting stuck. It was too fat, so I had to replace it. And the only reason why I started playing it again, because my daughter said she liked the guitar, so I figured I'd leave it for her, you know, when I'm dead and gone. And I started playing it again, and I couldn't play it. So I'm like, hey, let me just see what they have available for knobs. So I got a set of red and yellow, and the yellow set came with also the little knob for the blade selector. And I put it on, and I was like, I did it, I got them like, you know, in the evening. I put them on, and then the next day I was like, oh, I can't wait to play it. Silly, right? Just because of new knobs and a little toggle switch, I was excited about playing it. It's like your first car. Everyone that ever bought their very first car as a kid, they always hot rodded it. Well, back in the day, my buddies did, and you know, you wound up putting air shocks and lifting the back up, putting mag wheels on it, putting headers on it, dual exhaust, going, you know, switching out mufflers until you go with the thrust to the glass pack or cherry bombs, whatever sounds best. Cut a hole through the hood and put a scoop, and had my air filter coming up through there with a little flappy door, so when I drove, the door would blow open, and then I had a red light in there like the motor was on fire. You know, I really went to town. I cut the shifter down, and I had a tachometer, you know, on a big metal arm coming up from the steering wheel. Had one of those little round, you know, rubber steering wheels on there. Everyone does it. Well, everyone used to do it. I don't know about now. Now it's all about the Fast and the Furious and having, you know, a foreign sports car. So yeah, and then you're excited about driving your car. You just want to drive your car. You just want to go somewhere just to drive it. So the same thing with the guitar here. Once I put the knobs on, I was just like excited about playing it. And yeah, I was playing it all day yesterday, and I was like, wow, this is really, and at first I didn't have the yellow. I left the black knob on there. I'm like, well, you know what, let me put the yellow one on there, because the black one kind of blends in with the guitar, and now it pops. It pops, man. So yeah, the other one, I had to order the metal knobs with the line on it that I have on all my other guitars, because the guitars that I was selling, I had one guy ask me, you know, will it ruin the paint if he removes the sticker? So I'm like, no, they just peel off. So I had about 4 guitars that I had the Dragon decals on, and they're up for sale. So I took them all off yesterday. My fingers were dried out from the alcohol and the cleaning, and then I lemon pledged them all. So I also figured, well, let me take those big aluminum knobs off of here and put the regular ones on. But I realized the regular ones that came off of here, I sold on another guitar, the G&L Telly that I had. So I had to order these and put them on, and I think they look super cool. So I'll probably play it after this one, and I hope I don't fall in love with it all over again, because that makes 3 Charvels right now, and I really don't need a pickup in the middle kind of thing. But it is a cool looking guitar. The color I like, you know, it's a metallic too. It's hard to tell, but it is metal flake. And all ebony fingerboards. So yeah, let me give it some juice and put this on and see what happens. And hopefully I won't make a mistake. First time playing it today. That's my excuse, so I'm sticking with it. was it. And, you know, let me just put this out there. Anyone that's around my age, and you see in my videos all the time, I have a hard time remembering things lately. And if you've ever seen the Hodge twins on YouTube, these guys are funny as hell. We got a good show for you today. Damn good show. Twins, brothers, same family. And they, you know, they advertise the methylene blue. 1%. This is 10 milligrams. I think it's like 2 fluid ounces. And you want to make sure that you get the rated, I forget what it was. I can't see it really. USP grade, it looks like. USR grade, right there. I need stronger reading glasses. Isn't that funny how when you get older, like the print is smaller and smaller and smaller? So these reading glasses are fine for, and these are like 200. I think I need my stronger ones when I'm actually trying to put the strings through the keys to read that print. So they say it's good for body health, your organs, brain function, memory, and energy. I don't know too much about the energy kind of thing. I do take an energy powder drink that I got, you know, I've been taking since my best friend turned me on to it some years ago. And so yeah, I just had a I saw a show, and it was like it sparked up this memory, and then this, what I was just saying, sparked up this memory again. And this is my buddy that turned me on to this powder drink. I forget the name. I get it also from Walmart. We were best friends since kindergarten. So since 5 years old, we've been friends. We grew up in, you know, in the neighborhood. We had the same gang. It's like 10 of us that I remember, solid 10, throughout elementary, junior high, and pretty much high school. We saw each other and still hung out, but we still kind of didn't see each other that much in school because we got in so much trouble in junior high. The principal let the principal know in high school about us, and said, when you go there, the last time we got in trouble before we left the school, he says, when you go to high school, it's going to be a different world because the principal already knows about each and every one of you. And man, was he right. We were lucky if we passed one another in the hallway. And it was worse for me because I only had 10th grade homeroom. So I had whoever was in my class in 10th grade, I had like I think 1 or 2 friends from junior high in 10th grade homeroom, and then the others from a different school. And then all my classes were in 12th grade classes for the last 2 years of me being in high school. The plan was to graduate early and, you know, go into the service. But so yeah, how true it was that we didn't see each other. And again, in high school, I was lucky if I passed someone in the hallway. So I had to make friends with all the 12th graders. And luckily for me, the football team took to me and let me sit at their table, saved me a seat, and, you know, invite me over to the house and work out and teach me how to work out and tell me what to eat and this and that. And, you know, I dealt with that all of 10th grade. And then 11th grade, I had to do it all over again with the next 12th graders. So it was a bit of a nightmare for me, high school. But in any case, you know, fast forward, my buddy, since kindergarten, I've had like 3 best friends. I've been lucky to have 3 best friends in my life. him since first grade, another friend of mine, Carmine, since third grade, and then another best friend of mine, Manny, that's a professional musician since 1982. And I've had a lot of good friends, since then. That, again, professional musicians that I used to hang out with and go over to their house and stuff like that. But there's, this one friend since kindergarten. When I lived on Long Island, we hung out all the time, always went to guitar stores. His family would come over to my house every other weekend for either a barbecue, or if it was wintertime, for dinner and hang out. And we still go out and do things, hang out and go to guitar stores and stuff like that. And when I moved here, he would come down here and stay the week because we shared the same birthday. So every December he'd come down and spend a week in this room with me and my family. And every day we'd be going out to different guitar stores and hanging out, and then going down to Pier 60, and this and that. And came COVID in 2020, I didn't hear from him. I was like, what's going, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Because we were all about talking about the election, what was going on with that, and then the COVID thing, and I couldn't get a hold of him. He ghosted me for 9 months. And every December, he would call me up at the butt crack of dawn just to bust my chops and wish me a happy birthday before I wished him, and then put something on Facebook. And he didn't do it this year. And to reach out to try to get a hold of him, because he would go on and off Facebook, he was back on again, and I wished him a happy birthday. He did the same to me. And then I instant messaged him and I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, I haven't heard from you for 9 months. I'm closer to him than my own actual brother. That's 10 years my senior. We used to talk virtually every day for like an hour and a half. And I thought my wife would get upset because my first wife used to be jealous of him, coming over and hanging out all the time. And I'm like, yeah, you ghosted me for 9 months, and I think you owe me an explanation and an apology. And all he said was that I went through something, and it's over with now, and can we just pick things up the way they were? And I'm like, no. And he's the one that always kept everyone together from the neighborhood. He'd come down, and we had another guy from the gang, another guy that was from the neighborhood but not in our gang, and we used to get together and have dinner and this and that, talk about old times. And I'm like, no, and he used to always say, giving a friend a pass. If they did you wrong, just give them a pass. Well, I gave him more than 3 passes, if you think about it. I gave him, and back in the day, we lived in the same neighborhood still, even after high school and all. I go to his house and I take care of his dog and his fish pond, and when he was on vacation, and vice versa. So he would, we were getting ready to start a band, and the first pass I gave him is, I go to, I'm hanging out at his house, and I go, when are we gonna get together to do this, And he's like, well, I joined this other band, and just left me cold. And I was like, what? So that was the first time. The second time is that he was to be my best man. And 2 weeks before our wedding, we had to have a funeral because my wife's father passed away prior to that. So 2 weeks before we had a funeral, the week before that, I pick him up for the bachelor party. And not only does he say to me, I can't go to the bachelor party, but I can't be your best man. And I was just dumbfounded by the whole thing. And luckily I asked my third best friend what's going on, and no, I asked my third best friend, will you be my best man, letting him know that this is what my buddy did. He knows him too. I said, this is what he did. And He's like, yeah, I'll do that for you. And then I see that he had like a party, a party in July, because the week before, 4th of July party. And I'm like, what the hell? And I wasn't even invited, and I was invited to everything, all the time. His son's birthday, because I've known, he's got 2 daughters and a son. I've known his son since he was born, kind of thing. Always at birthday parties and stuff like that. And I was like, what? And then all of a sudden he left. He just moved and left the state. And another friend that's a friend of his, I said, what the hell's going on? And then he came back, and he's like, well, let's be friends again. And I gave him a second pass. And that was because, even now, I miss him as a friend. But I was like, I'm going to let it go. My wife was more irked about it than I was. But I kind of wanted an explanation, but never got one. I don't know if it's because I just invited him and his wife. If his wife, didn't like the fact of him going out to the bachelor party and being in the party and she's not in the party, or not inviting his son and middle daughter that was still living at home at the time. I don't know. A wedding is about a couple getting married, not about bringing your kids. So they detract from the wedding, and then I want my friends to have a good time and not worry about taking care of a kid. You could, someone could watch your kid for 4 hours. So I don't know if it was that or not, but I was still, dying to get an explanation, and yet never asked him for one. Then, when he was, when we were still hanging out, and he was coming over to the house, we went out one day, guitar hunting, and I was looking for a red Fender Stratocaster. It was me, my daughter, him, and his son. And I says, I'm looking for a used Fender Stratocaster with a maple fingerboard. We go to this one store, O'Neill's, it was Family Melody in Patchogue. And, I don't see him, and he's at the counter getting ready to, getting ready to pull the trigger on our Fender, red Fender Strat with a maple neck. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I was so pissed. I just didn't want it. I didn't care for to get a guitar at that point. I wound up buying an Eric Johnson one later on, red with a maple fingerboard. But I didn't get, he could have showed me that one and said, I found one for you, but he didn't. That's pass number 3. Pass number 4 wasn't going to happen because it was the COVID thing. He ghosted me for 9 months, and I'm like, I talk to this guy all the time. We hang out all the time. I'm closer to him than I am my own actual brother. And my second best friend was his good friend as well. So the 3 of us knew each other, and we've lost some guys throughout the years that we've known. And it's kind of it's a privilege to be alive, where you've got friends that aren't anymore, but you miss them. And I do miss that friendship that we had. But again, it's unless I get a call saying, hey, I'm sorry, and here's what happened. And by the way, I would say, what was the deal with my wedding? But I don't think that's going to happen because it's been 5 years now. So, and the powder drink is what brought that up. So yeah, the methylene blue I use just to get my memories back again. And it seems to be helping because, like I said, the first time I took it, I started remembering lyrics to songs that I forgot. I started remembering solos to songs that go with the actual songs, the cover songs. And some of my own stuff that I haven't played since 2011 with my band, I start remembering. So that's pretty good. I take it once a day. I take 10 drops. They say take 20. I take 10 drops. They say you could take it, 2 times a day or something like, or 3 times a day if you take 10 drops. I just take 10 drops in the morning, and that's it. And it seems to be holding up pretty good. So I'm pretty happy about that. So I have a pause on my phone, and I'm sorry that the video is going long. I'm just looking at it now, and I see that it says 22, 41, 42, 43, and counting. I want to hit the pause and see if it works. So here we go. Pause. And back on again. Yeah. The only thing I can't do is turn the camera around, which is disappointing. So I have to go like this in order to see. Those are all my guitars that I'm selling. That's my closet with my pictures, my amp, and the cases for my Gibsons. This is my wall of Strats. Am I getting it all? I don't even know. But that's my wall of Strats. My pedal board. And then whoop, panning around, that's my Gibson wall. I moved my Greenie Moore that was in this corner over there with the picture. And so I've got my Greenie Moore, my Ace Frehley copies, or the Ace Frehley is a vintage brand. It's a copy of an Ace Frehley, but it's a real brand, vintage. They're out of England. The 59 Greenie Moore, everyone knows, is a replica from China, and it was supposed to come without the Gibson logo on the headstock, and it is in the headstock. Someone said I could sand it off, but you can't. And then my two USAs on the bottom there, and that's my original Fender amplifier that I bought. I think it was 2 years after I actually got my first electric guitar. And these are the ones that I was playing with today, if you could see that. So, yeah, this is full of my wife's clothes. She's got a giant walk-in closet in our bedroom that's packed, and then she's got this packed. I'm lucky to get this this much out of the whole room, and that's my Tupperware container full of pedals. I had pedals that I started buying since 1982, and I sold a lot of them when the market crashed, and I didn't have a Freddie May or a what is it, Freddie Mac or whatever the two were back in the day. We were owned by Countryside, I think Country something from. See now, I think those drops are wearing off. Bank of America. We had on mortgage, and it doubled. It went from $2,300, because we had an 11-room house on like a half an acre right by the water, to $42,000. Yeah, so I started selling all my vintage pedals that went up in the day to try to keep my head above water with the mortgage. But, you know, it was a never-ending battle. So that's about it. That's all I got to say about that. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and a better tomorrow. And I'm sorry it went so long, but adios, amigos.